am talking all things radiology technology, and people want to know all of these questions about what do we do as radiology technologists. Yes, I had it on mute. Sorry. I'm actually editing a long form video that is going to be a series that I'm doing, but today I'm going live, and that video is going to go live tomorrow. So check out the shorts and everything, and we've got our book back here, but we're answering questions like, what modalities can you go into besides radiology technology, diagnostic radiology? How much do they pay? How long does it take to go to school to do these professions in healthcare? Like, does it make more sense to work as a travel technologist? You guys are asking great questions, and I'm going to answer them. So I'm going to go into my content now and see what kind of questions you all have, because you've got some really, really good questions. I'm going to go over to TikTok first. The first question is, what's the pay difference for a specialty? So what we have is 12 medical specialties in medical imaging is what it's called. The umbrella is medical imaging. You have over 11 to 12. Sometimes people do the 12th. I'll tell you what they are. But different specialties. You can do diagnostic x-ray. You can do MRI, CT, mammography, interventional radiology, bone density, nuclear medicine, radiation therapy, radiologist, technologist. So you are the assistant to the radiologist, which you do the similar things, if not some of the same things that a radiologist does. So it's a master's degree level program. And some of the other things that you do are also medical dosimetry, radiation therapy, nuclear medicine, PET CT, or just PET. That is another modality. But those are all the modalities that you can do. You don't have to do x-ray. You don't have to do MRI. Now, how much do each of those pay? It's going to definitely depend. Be sure to check out the video above that talks about the pay specifically for medical dosimetry. I did a long video. It's about a 20-minute long video that's gotten rave reviews and a lot of comments and questions and people interested in medical dosimetry. Hello, Leticia. Thank you guys for being here on this live. Drop any questions that you may have. I'm answering questions from TikTok and YouTube here. This is a live. Ask questions about the profession, what you would like me to answer live, or if you have ideas for videos, so let me know. I don't know if any of you know, but I have a children's book and a coloring book and a series of children's book that is to come out more in 2026. This is the first two of the series in the year 2025. So I'm excited about that, and you guys are loving it. But if you categorize each profession, I'm going to tell you, it widely depends on how much you make. I'm going to say this. There, in certain places, radiologic technologists that do x-ray, diagnostic x-ray, can make just as much as CT and MRI technologists. It all depends on, number one, what state and city you live in. It also depends on what your duties are, what type of hospital you work in. Are you registered? There are some people that are registered in x-ray radiology technology. They do CTs and MRIs, but they never got their ARRT. That is going to cut into how much money you make. I recently just did a video on that. You may want to check those videos out. I've got a plethora of videos that really break it down. But there is a big difference in pay, depending on your specialty, because each one determines certain things. If you take diagnostic x-rays, that's going to open you up to all the other modalities with training that takes less time. Because your 2 years of radiology, thank you so much, your training of radiology technology actually counts toward that 2 years minimum that you went, counts towards those other medical imaging professions. So this is important because if you go right into radiation therapy or MRI, you are not going to be able to just jump back and say, take a year certification or on-the-job training in another profession. You're going to have to go back to school for radiology technology to be able to do the other ones. That's why I tell people in my content, I think it makes more sense to go to school for radiology technology first. Tell me what you guys think, because going to school for radiology technology first, now all of those modalities that I said in the beginning, which were like 11 of them, you can do by going to school for maybe a year certificate or cross-training on the job. Yes, that to me makes a huge difference versus if I wanted to go to school for MRI and I have to have a degree already anyway, but then I've got to go to school for MRI for 2 years. I could have gone to school for radiology technology, but many people choose not to because the radiology technology programs have a long waiting list, a lot more competitive to get in. The MRI schools are private. They cost a lot of money. Only way to get into an MRI program at most schools is to already have a degree or have a radiology technology degree. Like where I taught, as long as you had an ARRT radiologic degree, you could join into their MRI program as long as they had enough seats for you. And that was usually about 5 to 10 seats. And it was a lot less expensive. But you having that ART radiology, it opens up more things than just people think, well, it gives me more pay to do other things. If I go to MRI, I can get more money. I feel like long term, going to radiology technology school, you get more money. Because I, if I want, can go to school for radiologist assistant, which is like a nurse practitioner, like a physician's assistant, y'all. Like it's one of the top areas of our profession that you can get to. And they make really good money. Not a whole lot of jobs out there now compared to MRI, but compared to 20 years ago, when the position first opened up, this is a ton of jobs compared to 20 years ago, right? So it's all relative to what are you comparing it to. Can I be a radiology technologist if I'm not very smart? You are very smart, Schuler. I think it's Schuyler. You're very smart. You're not a slow learner. You just have to get in the program. You've got to just study every day. And that's everybody, because these radiology technology are principles that we just don't learn it. We don't learn radiation safety practices and that type of physics, that type of radiation biology. Those things are not what we learn in school. I tell you, the physics that I do at MRI is totally different from the physics I did in high school. It's a totally different physics. But I got through it. I did it. One day I'm going to tell you guys, I'm formulating a story of how to make it funny, because y'all gonna talk about me when I tell y'all how I failed my MRI exam the first time. I had to take it 3 times. And the first time I took it, yeah, y'all gonna get me for that one, but it's gonna be very fun. I know you're gonna enjoy the story, so it should be coming out. I'm probably gonna leave it for January because I'm trying to formulate it and record it. Got so many things going on. Welcome to the live, everyone. We are answering questions from YouTube commenters. And so drop your comments there if you have any comments about the profession of medical imaging, radiology technology. I just broke down all 11. And someone asked the pay differences. So like I said, the pay really depends on where you live, what type of facility you're in. It can be $20 an hour for some people where they live. Now that's usually low. Most people for radiology technology make mid-30s to $40 starting out an hour. Now some people may say, that's it? I think if you're 20-something years old, getting out of high school, still living with your parents, making $30, $40, $35, $40 an hour is pretty good money. I'm going to tell you, I think it definitely is really good money. So I don't know, but that's just my opinion. How long do you have to be a rad tech before you can go back for other certifications? That's a very good question. Let me give a shout out to XX. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you everybody for subscribing. I truly appreciate the subscribers. Definitely appreciate y'all. Thank you. And thank you everybody for being on this live. I will be more consistent and putting out even more content. And I don't know if you guys know, I have a children's book and a children's radiology book, coloring book as well. So make sure you grab those. We are so excited to have this. Thank you so much. We are so excited to have this addition as a product, something that's just not a sweatshirt to just sell to you guys, but it is something that actually helps the profession to be understood, to be seen, to educate the younger ones to know what our profession actually does and who we are. So you can go back to school. These are the options. So I gave all 11 modalities of what we do. If you go to school for radiology technology, that to me is going to allow you now to do what this person asked, go back for other certifications in a more strategic way, and in a way that doesn't take a lot of time. If you go to school for at least 2 years for a radiology technology degree in the US, you can then cross-train on the job for a majority of the certifications. There are a few that you will have to go back to school for, such as radiation therapy, but that's like 1 year. Nuclear medicine, that's like 1 year. Radiologist assistant, if you have a bachelor's already, you just have to finish your master's and you'll be a radiologist assistant. But you have to work at least 2 years in the field of radiology technology. So this is what I tell people when they talk about, I got a message from one of the commenters says, I don't like doing x-rays. I don't like pushing portables. I don't like working in the OR. I'm ready to go to another specialty. I just graduated in June. This is what I say. I went straight to CT in my second year of school. Like by the time I got out of school, I already had a CT job waiting on me. But I kept my x-ray job for a number of years PRN. And I'm so glad I did because it helped me to kind of work on those skills that I knew already in school. I had already been working as a student tech on my own on the weekends. So that allowed me to get some experience by myself, where I didn't have someone, a clinical instructor, there to answer and help me out. I had to figure it out on my own. And if you one day want to go to school to be a radiologist assistant, and you went to school for radiology technology, but you don't have any experience in the x-ray part of it, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot by not being able to advance. And you're not going to be able to advance into that profession of radiologist assistant now. Because what happened? You wanted to get out of x-ray so bad. And I'm not against, or one of those people that's like, you must put your time in for being a radiology technology before you go to certification. Look, that's not me. I didn't do it, but I did keep my foot in x-ray after graduating for a few years. Somebody's calling my phone. I forgot to turn on airplane mode. Just so that way I would be able to in the future, have that experience. For me, I believe that you went to school for 2 years minimum. Don't waste it. Use it, get that experience. Don't just have the certification. Anybody can pass the test. Anybody can pass the test. But what you do with the time that you are at a place, at a job, in a certification will determine a lot of stuff. And it's also going to determine how you feel later on about the profession. Like, I am shocked that some people feel like they're bored and tired of radiology and they've only been in it 6 months or a year. They're burnt out. They're ready to leave to another modality. I don't see it. I thought x-ray was very challenging, and I didn't like the portables, and I did not like the OR, but I didn't go to the OR. I did not like the OR. There are people that love the OR, my husband being one of them. He would go to the OR all day long, every day. He loves it. And there are those of us that, no, do not send me, find somebody else. If I go, you're gonna wish you didn't send me. I'm just not the OR kind of person. So most people are like, hey, I'd rather go and get out the department. Go down there, got a case every few minutes. Like, that's up a lot of people's alley. It's just too cold for me. Should I try to get my GXMO? I don't know what that is. General X-ray? I don't know what that is. Tell me what that is, Namjoon. I might apply for an ortho office. I'm a certified MA. So in order to be a registered radiology technologist, you must go to school to a program that is ARRT credentialed. And they follow that curriculum, They follow that curriculum of the ARRT. MAs, even if they take x-rays in doctor's offices, are not radiology technologists. And I like to be very clear on that. So because people get confused that just because someone's taking your x-ray, that they are radiology technologists. They are not. So I want to just be clear on that you got to be careful when you go to doctor's offices. And the other thing, if you're thinking about being an MA and taking x-rays in doctor's offices, I would encourage you to go to school for radiology technology. Why not? Why not? You'll make way more money. You'll have a better schedule, and you'll actually know how to image. I used to train MAs at doctor's offices at a big urology practice. And I want to tell you the amount of radiation that they would give people, because most of the equipment in those offices are not brand new equipment. I meant to word it as, would that help when I enter the RadTech program? What's a GXMO? I wonder what that is. Is that general x-ray? I just don't know what the MO is. Would it help? That's a good question. That's a good question. Would it help me when I enter the RadTech program? Yeah, I think it would. I think that would be a plus when you do your application. So make sure you put it on there. Make sure you talk about it. Oh, general X, oh, machine operator. Oh, okay, sorry. I was trying to figure out the MO. I was like, oh, GXMO. Thank you. A lot of acronyms. If it's not medical terminology, I have no clue. Someone said something to me the other day, and it wasn't traumatic brain injury. They used some kind of other acronym for it, and they were like, that's traumatic brain injury. And I was like, actually, no, it's not. I don't know what they came up with, but they did their own acronym and got an attitude with me that I didn't know. I was like, I had to go back and sit down and say, what, traumatic brain injury? I'm gonna tell you, acronyms is so funny. Like SOB to medical people means something totally different than out in the real world. It's so funny. Our brains are just trained that way. Good question. I think it will, because you've already got, so I got an experience for you. There was a young lady that was MA at a doctor's office, a surgery center that I worked at, did MRIs at. She applied for x-ray school. She got in on the first try in a big city where people say there's a big waiting list, everything. I believe that she put down that her experience she didn't really do x-rays, but in the surgery room with the doctors when they did spinal injections, she would operate the C-arm, which she wasn't supposed to. But in doctor's offices, they do different stuff. So I try to tell patients that, but to each his own. I personally do not get x-rays in doctor's offices unless the person is a registered. I just recently went and got an x-ray of my hand, and my hand doctor uses the hospital outpatient center where they use registered radiology technologists. I just won't. I will not. Number one, I feel like people taking x-rays should be registered radiology technologists. I mean, doctors make enough money where they should employ at least one registered, because I've seen, and I'm telling you, I used to train MAs. I'm going to tell you that equipment is very, very old. Very old in most doctors' offices. Shoot, my chiropractor, his equipment is terrible. It's old. But it still works. It's a lot of money to replace that. So I personally will not let anyone x-ray me that's not a radiology technologist. Not to say that MAs don't do a good job, because I did train some that were fantastic, but they were still missing certain things that you only learn because of the equipment. There's new equipment, you kind of got certain safety things in there. So, it's a lot, but that's just my little thing, but I think it's gonna help you. So be sure to apply to as many schools as possible so you have chances at choosing instead of them choosing you. That's my thing. I think if you apply to, say, 5 schools and 2 or 3 say, we'll take you, now you make a choice. It's like, okay, which one do I want? Instead of you only apply to one and you hope that one takes you. I say apply to as many as you reasonably can drive to those clinical sites at, and then you decide, okay, I got 5 choices. I applied to 5. I got 5. Which one do I want? Which one best suits me? So I wish you the best. LJ says, I have an associate's in healthcare administration. Do you suggest working in a hospital part-time to get more exposure? I'm interested in cath lab because I like to travel. So with specials, you can go into cath lab, but you're not a registered radiologic technologist. That's a little different because cath lab does different from IR. We used to call it specials, and it used to be everything, but it was registered radiologic technologist. Now, cath lab does something a little different than specials. So to be in interventional, you have to be a registered radiologic technologist, or you go to cath lab, you don't have to be a registered radiologic technologist. Why would you leave healthcare administration to go into patient care? Are you thinking about working both, or? Because cath lab is totally different from getting into radiology. It's totally different. Have you rotated through it? I wanted some experiences because my school waitlist is 2 years. Well, 2 years is not bad. Yeah, apply, but 2 years is not a bad waitlist. I'm gonna tell you. So I have this experience where I tell people, I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to be on a podcast. It'll be released soon. But I told my story about I got accepted into a radiology program, and then I got ill, and I had to leave the program before it even started. But it was like a few weeks beforehand. So my spot went to somebody else. That is why I tell you guys, always apply, because unfortunately things happen to people. I was one of those people that it happened, and I had to give my spot up and go try to get into another school, which it did work out a year later. I had to wait a year and got in. But that's what I tell you, you just never know how things happen. Don't think that you got to wait 2 years, because you thinking it's 2 years and not applying or not, preparing can be not beneficial for you, because you could say, okay, yeah, I'm on a 2-year waiting list, but so-and-so had to drop out. And this is the class ready to go now, this fall. In 2026, oh no, or May 2026. I'm not ready because I was thinking 2 years. Always stay ready, y'all. Stay ready, apply. Even if they tell you 4-year waiting list, 2-year waiting list, 1-year waiting list, get on it. Get on it, enjoy, and you would do great. You would do great. Don't worry about it. You are going to do great, okay? So you guys, I hope that this has been helpful for you. What other questions do you have? If not, I've got some questions here. I'm excited to see so many people interested in applying for radiology technology and medical imaging. We just had Rad Tech Week last week, and the excitement for Rad Tech Week was amazing. I have not seen that many people actually put on their celebrations. It was really exciting. So LJ says, I prefer RT, but looking at the JCERT website, there aren't many schools in Georgia. I'm overly excited. Yeah, there are a lot of RT J-certed programs in Georgia. Have you gone to ARRT's website too? But yeah, JRCERT, there are a lot of schools. Hey, Ava, there are a lot of schools in there that are J-certed. Yeah, there are. I'm not sure. Are you looking for Cath Lab or let's see, Cath Lab? Who said Cath Lab? LJ. So you're thinking about Cath Lab because you can't find schools in Georgia for ART. You got Atlanta Area Tech. You got, you already have an associate's degree. You have Grady's program. Grady Healthcare has a program. You already have an associate's degree. What is it called? Emory DeKalb Medical, I think that's what it's called. It has one. Athens Tech has one. I don't know where you live, but all the surrounding areas have one. Gwinnett has a program. Gwinnett Technical College has a program. Georgia State, I think, has a program. Or they're getting, this is their last year for their program, I think. You got tons, and that's just the public ones. You have Cambridge, who is JRCERT accredited. They have it's expensive, and it's private, but they have a program that's been out for a long time. It has a good reputation. South College is JRCERT, but again, it is private. It is very costly, but they're JRCERT accredited too. So LJ, there are a lot of programs out there. You might want to check JRCERT, look up radiography, and look at ARRT and look it up. But there are tons of programs out there that are J-certed. And you already have a degree. So that is going to help you bypass the programs that require you to get a degree from them. There are programs like hospital-based, like Emory, DeKalb Medical. Their program will let you in because they only offer a certificate. You already have an associate's. So you'll be able to sit for your ARRT and take their program. I know that's one, but there are other programs as well. And you already have your degree, so that's helpful. That is helpful. Let's see, there are other questions. Let's see, this person, okay, so someone asked, so I made a video about, I recently went and did a speech for a radiology association. I was in school for 2 years for radiologic technology programs, and most programs are 2 years. Some programs are 4 years or about 3 and some change, equaling a bachelor's. It just depends on the program. But I did a 2-year program. That was mostly what was all available. Now you also have master degree level programs. That's really exciting. So these are some good questions, you guys. Someone asked, I'm a registered sonographer, RDMS. How do I get into MRI? So I just actually talked to a friend this weekend, and she does ultrasound ARDMS and has a bachelor's degree, and she wants to go into MRI. This is where, again, this is what I say, it's not impossible to switch over, but now you're taking one medical imaging modality that uses sound waves, which is ultrasound or sonography. Totally different, we use radiation. They're all imaging, but they use different principles. So for me, I'm thinking when I'm young, my brain moves a lot faster. When you get older and you're out of practice or going to school, it takes a little revving up, right? So if you start out in radiology technology and then you make those moves over, you have more modalities that fall under the principles that you learn for 2 to 3 years in radiology technology school. You can do interventional, you can do mammography, CT, all of those fall under radiology principles. So they're like, pooh, you could do that without thinking. MRI uses radio waves. It's a different type of physics than what we're used to, but radio waves. Ultrasound uses sound waves. So if you're trying to go from sound waves to radio waves, and not only that, the way images look on ultrasound is totally different from how they look on any other modality. When MRI images come up, they are in 3 different planes. And it's not just like an x-ray. It is coronal, sagittal, or axial. And if you've never ever looked at an image in 3 planes, let alone just one flat coronal pane from x-rays, you're gonna be totally confused. It is kind of hard to understand just the cross-sectional part. I struggle to look at ultrasound. So that's what I say. This person wants to know, how do they get into MRI? First of all, you're gonna need to find a program that offers you most likely a private institution that offers you the MRI curriculum where you could sit for your ARMORIT or your ARRT. They have an ARDMS, which is a certification for ultrasound, but it plays no part except the fact that they can cross-train into MRI by going to an MRI program. That is the only way. MRI is a primary pathway. Ultrasound is a primary pathway. Radiologic technology is a primary pathway. Nuclear medicine, radiation therapy, and medical dosimetry are all primary pathways into the medical imaging profession. Now, that is how you get into those. Now, if you go into radiology technology, you can cross-train quickly into any of those at a year at the most, because your radiologic technology degree helps you cross-train a lot faster, whereas the other ones will make you go back for at least 2 years, if not more. Hope that it has been helpful. This has been great conversation. Wow, 30 minutes of answering you guys great questions. Thank you for supporting. Will this be on replay? Yes, yes, it will. And if you have any other questions, please be sure to put it in the chat. Even when it ends in a replay, I will go back and I do look at the comments, and I will try to make more videos. I'm going to do that actually now, make more videos to answer people's comments in the shorts. So be sure to check out the shorts. Thank you. And I wish you all the best. Please let me know when you get accepted into your programs, when you graduate. And don't forget to check out Rachel the Radiographer. This year we released a children's book. This is different because this book was written by a technologist. There's no other book out there that is written like this book. This book introduces young people early on to our profession, because none of us knew about it until we were grown adults, right? Let's not do that to the young people. Let's give them options. And this book does that. It does it in a fun way. It does it in a way that helps children learn to read and learn who we are. So when they come into exams, they say, oh, I want to do what you do. It's not all about being a nurse or a doctor. We are the third largest medical profession in the nation. There's also a coloring book to go with it. I would love for you guys to check out and grab one for yourselves. Donate one to a local library, your kid's school, or a local school in the neighborhood. That is how we help get this profession out to other people. It is a fantastic hardcover book. It is not it's a nice landscape-sized book. This is a really good quality book. I made sure that the book was worth it. And the coloring book is so much fun. There's so much in there besides just coloring. So you got to grab one, donate one, give one as a gift. This is a time where you all are looking for gifts to give, support a small business, and a portion of the proceeds goes to next year's students who will win a scholarship. One person at a minimum will win a $500 scholarship that I fund through sales of the book, as well as making my content. Any money I make off my content and my books goes to that scholarship. So I got 2 winners this year, y'all. So excited. Thank y'all for the support and supporting other radiology technologists. Good night.